easy concept based learning. The lecture for today is about ghost cells, right? This is an important histological characteristic or a histological feature that we see in most odontogenic tumors as well as non-odontogenic tumors. So today in this lecture we are going to learn about everything that is to be known about ghost cells. What are they? How are they? Why are they present? Where are they present? Okay, everything. Also, at the end of the lecture, I will be discussing some molecular aspects of ghost cells for my PG students who are watching. Right. So let us start with ghost cells. Ghost cells have always been a topic of controversy. Why? Because there have been various opinions regarding the origin, the nature, and the significance of these cells in various tumors. Okay. So through this lecture, let us just clear some air around the ghost cells if we can, and let us understand it in a simpler way. Let us start with what are ghost cells. So, what are ghost cells? See, any cell in the body can be either an epithelial cell or a connective tissue cell. The ghost cell here is definitely an epithelial cell. So it is a epithelial cell. However, ultrastructurally, in some studies they have not found intercellular bridges, which are actually the characteristics of epithelial cells. Still, we consider these as epithelial in origin. Next, they are swollen, eosinophilic in H&E sections, of course, and pale cells. Okay, so in the H&E sections, we'll observe something like this: an epithelial cell which is swollen and it is pale eosinophilic. Then this, as you can see, there is a distinct cellular outline. So cellular outline is quite distinct and it is retained, but inside the nuclear and the organelles, the outline and everything has disappeared. So no nuclear or cytoplasmic characteristics can be seen. Then these ghost cells, they can either appear as a single cell or it can appear in clusters or sheets. So 2-3 epithelial cells can join together to form a complete eosinophilic sheet. Okay. So this answers the what of ghost cells. Next, coming to why. Why are they present and who are the authors or the scientists that have been involved in the description of these ghost cells. So let us see that. So let us see why and who. In 1936, Hyman and Ogden were the two authors who first saw and described ghost cells. The name of the authors are purely for academic and descriptive purposes. If you want, you can remember, otherwise you can forget also. Hyman and Ogden, they were the first ones to describe ghost cells, and what they thought was that ghost cells are nothing but dyskeratotic cells. So these are epithelial cells only which are dyskeratotic. Next, later in 1962, Gorlin et al. They first saw ghost cells in CCOT, that was calcifying cystic odontogenic tumor. Okay, and what they thought ghost cells were abnormally keratinized cells. Abnormally keratinized cells. Okay, so they had first seen it in the CCOT, calcifying cystic odontogenic tumor. Now, there is one more important odontogenic tumor in which ghost cells are seen. I have discussed in my previous lecture, for those who are following my series on odontogenic tumors, it was odontomas. So, odontomas also showed ghost cell tumor, but also showed ghost cells. But for a very long time, they did not actually identify ghost cells in odontoma. The reason was the ghost cell description that I have given a few minutes before. What was that? A pale eosinophilic structure. Don't you think it is similar to dysplastic dentine? Okay, because that also looks very similar. So for a long time, authors and pathologists, they used to think that these ghost cells, even though they saw it, they used to think it is nothing but dysplastic dentine. I don't know why did they think so, because we have seen that ghost cells occur in epithelium. Still, they used to think like that. Later, they actually described and distinctively they had said that ghost cells also occur in odontomas. In odontomas, according to Levy et al., he had given a different pathogenesis for ghost cells in odontomas. What he said was, these are nothing but metaplastic transformation of odontogenic epithelium. So he said that ghost cells are a result of metaplasia. Transformation of odontogenic epithelial cells. Right? And what they said, what he further said was that these ghost cells are actually formed because of the reduced oxygen supply to these epithelial cells. So according to him, see, odontomas, what happens? There is a hard tissue formation. Okay, so whatever odontogenic epithelial islands are present, they are very less when compared to the extensive hard tissue formation that we see. So according to Levy et al., they thought that as this hard tissue formation is happening around the odontogenic epithelial cells, like for example, this is an island of odontogenic epithelial cells, right? So what they thought is, because of the hard tissue formation that is occurring around these odontogenic epithelial cells, the blood supply to these cells is cut off. Okay, so initially the blood supply which was coming is cut off due to the hard tissue formation, and this lack of blood supply ultimately led to the metaplastic transformation of these cells. Okay, this was called as the walling off effect. It was called as the walling off effect, because the hard tissue has kind of formed a wall around the odontogenic epithelium and is separating it from its nutrition or the blood supply that is supposed to come from the adjacent connective tissue. But later this theory was ruled out because they found ghost cells adjacent to blood vessels also. Okay, so that is very interesting and actually ironic. So what they found, suppose I draw the ghost cells in green color, they found it here also somewhere. So this theory stood ruled out. So this was about Levy et al. Further, there was another scientist named as Sam Pyo-hong. So till now what we have seen is that ghost cells are nothing but abnormally keratinized cells or the dyskeratotic cells, right? And according to Levy et al., it is the metaplastic transformation of odontogenic epithelial cells. Moving further, there is one more theory regarding this ghost cell. According to Sam Hum. In 1991, what he said was, he also observed the ghost cells in calcifying cystic odontogenic tumor, and what he said was these ghost cells are nothing but a result of coagulative necrosis. Okay, so he said this, and what made him say this and what made him actually refute the previous theories regarding ghost cell was, immunohistochemically, when he stained the ghost cells as well as the other odontogenic epithelial cells in CCOT, the other odontogenic epithelial cells were characteristically cytokeratin positive, whereas the ghost cells came out to be cytokeratin negative, to be specific CK19. Okay, and as we know, or the PG students must be knowing, the cytokeratin is a very, very important characteristic marker for epithelial cells, especially keratinized or epithelial cells, just remember that. So when the cytokeratin comes out negative, that made this author propose that it was a result of coagulative necrosis. Okay. Next, there was another author, that is Gunhan et al. What he said was, just a second. So till now we have seen that ghost cells can either come from or can either be dyskeratotic or a result of abnormal keratinization, or it can be a result of coagulative necrosis. Next, according to Gunhan et al. In 1993, he said, or he proposed, that ghost cells were a result of abnormal enamel proteins. Abnormal enamel proteins. Okay. Now, this theory was proposed based on the staining characteristics of these ghost cells. What they found was, they stained these ghost cells with some enamel protein markers which came out to be positive. Okay. So that is why they thought that this may be as a result of some abnormal protein. Ghost cells are generally seen in CCOT, calcifying cystic odontogenic tumor. I have put here in the first because it is the most important tumor, odontogenic tumor, that should come to your mind when the word ghost cell is said. Next is craniopharyngiomas, pilomatricomas and pilomatrical carcinomas are the carcinoma of, or they are related to hair. Okay, pilo means hair. Odontoma, dentinogenic ghost cell tumor, both benign and malignant. Odontoameloblastoma, ameloblastic fibroodontoma, and rarely it can also be seen in ameloblastoma and clear cell odontogenic carcinomas, but is rare. Also, here I have put two separate entities in the box there because these are not neoplasms or cysts or any other pathology like the ones written on your left. These are the normal entities which are seen, normal structures which are seen in the humans during development. So Sedano and Pindberg, they have noticed some ghost cells in the inner enamel epithelium also in a developing human tooth, or it can also be seen in eruption cyst. Okay, both related to the tooth. Now moving on to how they are seen. So when I say how they are seen, I am going to discuss about the various stains that are used to observe ghost cells. Okay, so let us see that. Next we are going to shed some light on the molecular aspect of ghost cells. There are two main signaling pathways which are involved in the ghost cell formation, that is WNT and Notch signaling pathways. Now most of us will know that WNT and Notch signaling pathways are also important in the normal human embryogenesis. They are important for various determining the cell patterns or morphogenesis, okay, or determining the differentiation, cytodifferentiation. So how is this related to ghost cells? We will see. Okay. Now, just a few minutes ago, when we were reading about where these ghost cells are seen, so for one thing we know for sure that all these tumors that we had discussed there had one thing in common, that is the presence of ghost cells. Apart from that, there can be another thing also which is in common, that is nothing but the probable molecular mechanism in their pathogenesis. Okay, so wherever we see ghost cells, these tumors might share the same kind of pathogenesis when related to these molecules. So, coming to individual signaling pathways, WNT signaling pathway is mainly important for three main things. First and the most important to us also is the odontogenesis. So it is an important signaling pathway involved in the tooth development and enamel proteins formation or synthesis. Enamel protein synthesis, which is again a part of odontogenesis only. Next, it is also important in the hair follicles where it helps in the hair differentiation. Hair differentiation or hard keratin synthesis, because hair is nothing but a hard keratin. At the same time, WNT signaling pathways are also mainly important in the regulating the cell cycle and maintaining tissue homeostasis. Tissue homeostasis. Notch signaling pathway is also involved in maintaining the cell cycle regulation and tissue homeostasis. Apart from this, there is one more important function of Notch signaling pathway, that is, or there is an important process in which the signaling pathway is involved, to be more precise, that is cytodifferentiation. So it basically determines the fate of the cell during cytodifferentiation. Differentiation, we know, is nothing but when a cell stops multiplying and it gains a functional ability to carry out and execute a particular function. So that is nothing but cytodifferentiation. Now, these are the normal functions in the normal human beings. If there is any aberrancy in these signaling pathways, that can be seen in ghost cell formation. Like for example, if there is aberrancy in WNT signaling pathways, this is involved in odontogenesis or enamel protein synthesis. The same thing you will see in the ghost cells also. So you see enamel proteins even in ghost cells, as we were discussing in the earlier part of the lecture. Okay, even you see hard keratin synthesis in the ghost cell also. Similarly, cytodifferentiation. Here also, you know that ghost cell is nothing but a differently differentiated or an altered cell, okay, which has differentiated differently. So that is also one example of cytodifferentiation. It is nothing but a differentiated cell type. So these all things are also related to ghost cells. Okay, so we can say that WNT and Notch signaling pathways are somehow involved in the formation of ghost cells. So this is about the molecular aspect. Moving on to the prognosis of ghost cells. That means, what if we see ghost cells in a histopathology of a particular tumor? Should we be worried? Should we advise the surgeon something? So, well, basically, ghost cells, they do not show any difference in the age, sex or site of predilection, right? Moreover, in pilomatricomas, it has been found that the apoptotic nature of host cells has led to the banal behavior of these tumors. Means to say that what they are interpreting it as, the tumor cells are undergoing apoptosis, and that is seen as host cells. So because the tumor cells are undergoing apoptosis, that is cell death, it is probably relieving the stress. So the neoplasm is becoming a little less aggressive. Okay, so that is nothing but the banal behavior. So generally host cells are related to the banal behavior of a tumor. So apart from this, there is nothing much to say or to learn about the prognosis of host cells, right? So let me write down here. Prognosis. So generally there is no difference in the age, sex or site, but because of the apoptotic nature of these cells, they are considered to be the reason for the banal behavior of the tumors. Okay, so this is about ghost cells. Okay, so we'll end the lecture here. If you have any doubts, do contact me in the comment box. Okay, and any suggestions, again and again, this is my earnest request. So please tell me about my video, tell me about my lecture. If you think it's good, if you think it's bad, it's more welcome. Okay, thank you and all the best.